What's good, guys? It's Jiedel, and I finally have a new Storytime video. You guys have been asking for Storytimes for a minute now. I don't live the most exciting life. I'm not made out of stories. They don't come by too often. I have to remember them. Today, I literally sat on the couch just trying to think of a story to tell because daily uploading has been kind of hard for me. Hard to come up with a lot of ideas, and I don't want to spam too much Fortnite or too much 2K. Want to keep things fresh. Also, shout out to everyone who noticed this is the first 4K video on the channel. Alright, now let's get to the story. My freshman year of high school, I made the mistake of joining my high school's football team. Now, you're probably wondering why it's a mistake. I love the sport of football. If I could go back in time, I probably would have done it again. The problem was 13/14-year-old me knew nothing about football at all. I knew I liked the sport, but I didn't know anything about it. And because I was young and dumb, I didn't really take the time to learn it, which resulted in a lot of embarrassing stories, we'll just say. So I signed up to be on my high school's football team after middle school. And one of my earliest memories was parents bringing their kids to like this kind of open meeting where the coaches are kind of explaining the summer schedule, the 2-a-day practices, the practices and all that. And they're going over like serious stuff, payments for the team, all this kind of jibber jabber. And my mom raises her hand and asks,
"Will there be snacks?"
In front of every other person on the team, in front of every other parent, in front of the coaches. Everybody starts laughing. Everyone was just laughing. It was probably a sign of things to come that it was going to be a lot of embarrassing things coming out of this experience because my mom literally just started me off on a horrible note. I don't think she knew any better. I got roasted for that endlessly. Like every practice, especially over the summer, was always like, I was the will there be snacks guy, and I wasn't even the one who asked the question. My mom asked it. So I did not get off on the best foot there. Now, the position. I should have been a wide receiver or a cornerback when I play football. Like, those are my good positions. I'm really good at catching, and I'm really good at stopping people who play receiver. That was my, like, designated position I should have been. They decided to make me an offensive tackle and a defensive end. For those of you who don't know football, these are offensive tackles. These are defensive ends. At the time, I was a 5'10" skinny white kid. Not the most physically imposing person to play either of those positions. Typically, offensive linemen are bigger, fatter, if you will, stronger, long arms. I don't think I have the greatest wingspan for my height. Pretty much, I was born to play slot receiver. That was my football destiny, or maybe corner. But I wasn't given one of those two positions. I was given offensive tackle or defensive end. So we'll get to the problem with that later in the video. So early on, the coaches are using all these terminology like Mike linebacker and the X blitz gapper and stuff. Now again, as I mentioned earlier, I know what all of those things are now. Oddly enough, I got super into football, X's and O's, all of that stuff after I quit the team because I just didn't like being on the high school team, but I love the sport. I still love the sport. So I actually did want to learn it, but like being a part of the team made me not want to learn it. It just felt like there was so much pressure. So instead of actually trying to like learn things and get better, I almost felt like I was destined to fail all the time because of the way the coaches were. My high school is one of the top like football programs in the state, so there was just like so much pressure to win, which honestly, horrible environment to play in. Anyway, so they're doing all this football terminology like what I said earlier. And basically they're having people demo the plays. And I didn't know the plays because I didn't study the playbook, didn't know the terminology, but I didn't want to just be standing there when people would go up to volunteer to demonstrate the plays. So every time they called up people to do it, I would pretend to kind of half walk over there. Then once the spots would get filled, I would walk back. And I did this like 6 or 7 times to make it look like I was going to do something, but I actually wasn't. The coach noticed. He didn't call me out by name because it was like the first week. Didn't know my name, thank God. But he basically just made this whole thing about half-assing it, being a fake, doing all this stuff. Luckily, it wasn't directed at me, so no one really knew, but I had to live with that guilt for like a week and then I stopped caring. It was my first time even wearing football pads and stuff. And my high school definitely was on some cheating shit. Like all the other high schools wore like normal football jerseys, like something like this. Like you could pull this. If you held like someone like this and they try to run this way, the jersey's gonna catch them or the jersey's gonna rip. Our high school had these like super skin tight jerseys that were like elastic. So if you pulled on someone's jersey, instead of like yanking them back, the jersey would just stretch and stretch and stretch until there was too much force going away and you'd have to let go. We were the only team that had these cheesy jerseys that were impossible to tackle people with. So also, big problem with these jerseys, they were really hard to take off, especially with pads. So multiple times over the summer, before I really understood the padding thing, I would literally go home wearing my pads and take them off in my bedroom. I couldn't be asked to take them off in front of everybody else. Like, I was just so bad at taking off the shoulder pads and stuff. For those of you who play football, you're probably laughing. Like, yes, I eventually figured it out, but I'm telling you, these jerseys were weird. I've never seen football jerseys like this since then. Fast forward 3 weeks. Mind you, we had a kid on our team who was a 4-star recruit at running back and corner. Our quarterback ended up getting recruited to Alabama and LSU. Our team was stacked. We were 3-0 to start the season, and we won each game by over 50 points. You know, we go into the weight room on like a Monday morning, and we're all pretty gassed up. We're excited. We were 3-0. No reason we wouldn't be happy about where we were. We were clearly the best team. I don't even think we were doing anything crazy. I think we were just talking shit, being happy. Our old ass, dumbass coach, don't even remember his name. I did not like him. Comes in, he's like,
y'all think you're hot shit just because you're 3-0?
Like, motherfucking yes, I did think we were hot shit. 3-0, and we won by like a combined 150 points. How could we not be hot shit? So, for no reason at all, he basically just starts making us do all this running and suicides and extra weightlifting stuff that there was no reason for it. Like, your team is kicking ass. Better punish them. That makes no sense. Now, I did not get a lot of playing time. I was very small compared to the other offensive linemen, and they never really even gave me a chance at defensive line. Not good coaching, I'm just going to say that. I was not the best student. Acknowledged. I think it's a two-way street. So they put me at defensive line one game, and I barely know tackling form at this point. All I know is like a few moves to get past offensive linemen to get to the quarterback. So I'm in. It's one of the last plays of the game, so their team's just running it. I beat the offensive tackle with an inside swim move, and all of a sudden I'm face to face with a running back coming right at me, and I freeze up since I was literally riding the bench all year and I had really no idea what I was doing. And I logged my only career football stat, kind of went like this. This is the running back. This is me. And then we kind of just fell. So I technically got a tackle, even though I had no idea what I was doing. I was just a lot bigger than the kid, and I ended up logging a tackle stat. My only stat. My only one. But anyway, the most embarrassing moment by far for the football season, without a doubt. Don't roast me for this. I'm playing offensive tackle. For some reason, we run a pass play. By the way, guys, we went like 11-0 or 10-0 my freshman year. We won every game by over 40 points. Like, our team was stacked. So I'm playing offensive tackle. We're running a pass play for some reason. And I guess the other team just forgot to send a defensive end or an outside linebacker to rush my side. So the ball is snapped, and I back up in my like pass blocking stance, and I don't see like an end or an outside linebacker to block. And like the form, you know, they were kind of like in practice, we would just kind of go like this, you know, the dummies to like practice getting your hands up in the pad, like the chest pad area. Well, your dumbass boy Jiedel here kind of just literally just started backpedaling, going like, I just kind of kept moving my hands back and forth, looking for somewhere to block. Like, the guard next to me, the offensive guard next to me is getting, like, bull rushed by defensive tackle, and I'm just, like, not helping him. I'm just kind of aimlessly going around like this. And so, of course, we're watching film that next Tuesday. You can imagine why that might be a little embarrassing. Of course, we did film study because my high school took this shit a little too seriously for freshman football. And everyone just sees me kind of scattering back and forth for 4 seconds, just doing this with my hands, being a dumbass. I literally didn't know better. I didn't know what to think. And you guys remember, football plays are like literally 4 to 6 seconds long on average, but it felt like an eternity watching the film session because everyone was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you blocking the air?
Working on the floor! They should do that!
But yeah, really was kind of stupid of me. Not going to lie. Honestly, football is like truly one of my favorite sports. I love playing it. And I actually know the sport like pretty intimately now. After I quit the team, is like I really just got into the sport so much more because then I could just start like loving the sport instead of being a part of this team that I didn't like. I don't even remember if there was that many other stories, but it's been so long since I've whipped out the story time, and I know you guys wanted it, and finally I thought of a story I could tell. So yeah, that was my story time. Embarrassing stories from the high school team. Guys, I was thinking about redoing my other storytime videos because I watched them back, and honestly, I was just not a good storyteller whatsoever. So, it might be time to redo some of those. I was wondering if you guys would be kind of cool with me reposting, but like fully redoing the videos to make them better. Maybe something you'd be interested in, maybe not. Let me know in the comments if you like this story. Do leave a like below. If you're appreciating the daily upload streak, leave a like. Guys, this is 20 in a row. I don't know how I'm doing this. It's been tough, but we're pushing through. And it's cool to see how much the channel is growing through daily uploading. So thank all of you, new subscribers, old subscribers. Thank you all for being a part of the process. If you want to see a story time on really embarrassing stories from when I was on the cross-country team my senior year of high school, click up here. This is probably one of my classics. And if you want to see a story time on the worst teacher ever, click up here. Peace.